Okay. Excellent. So welcome to tonight's webinar on making 2020 your best year with your best self. I'm Liana Allison, Empathic Leadership Coach here at the Institute of Empathic Leadership. So welcome on board. If you're listening to the recording, also welcome. And if you have any comments or anything, please reply through the email so that we can help you out with anything that you have going on. So we have another participant that's come on. Would you like to pop your name in the chat box? Because everyone's coming up in my participant board under the same name. So if you can just pop your name in the chat box for me, if you've just come on board, that would be fabulous. And while that's happening, so tonight I want to talk about not only goals for 2020, but intentions and how we can actually make the most of that year. Now, I was talking about in the postings on Facebook about this, about how it's about emotional intelligence and making the right decisions and choices. But first of all, I just want to know of you who are on live, who has actually put a goal for 2019 forward at the start of the year, and did you hit it? And if you didn't hit it, do you know why you didn't? So just pop in the chat box any comment that you may have around that, so that we can have a discussion if needed around it. Because it's always better, if I can talk to you about your individual issues, it's always better and more aligned with you, and we can go deeper with that. So did you have a goal for 2019? And if you did you get it? And if you didn't get it, why not? If you know, or did you just not have a goal? Now, my goal for 2019 was actually a word. So my word for the year was vulnerability. And for me, what that meant was to actually work towards, I can't believe it's the end of the year already. I remember very clearly setting this intention. The intention around it was to be more vulnerable in my authenticity, in myself, how I am with people, to be the same person from one situation to another, whether it's family, friends, work, be just the same person, to be authentic. And that's a place of vulnerability, because to be authentic means you've got to drop all your masks. Okay, so we have Vanda to better manage my racing mind and improve my relationships. I'm well on my way, thanks to you, Liana. I thank you, Vanda. Hit some, but not my big goals. Feel as though these big goals are out of reach for me. Okay. All right. So when you comment, just make sure you pop your name in so I know who's commenting, because as I said, the system has got a glitch in it. So if you're not hitting your big goals, that's part of what I want to talk about tonight, is Shelley did have goals with my rebranding, didn't hit my goals, working hard but not getting much traction. Okay, and that was Jody, thank you for that. All right, great. So what I've got lined up tonight is going to work well for you. So if we look at, I'm not going to go through the specifics of setting goals. I will run through it quickly, but this is more about what holds us back from our goals. And are our goals really what we want to be aiming at? Because it's quite common for us to perceive that we want to actually achieve a certain thing, get to a certain point, or change our life in some way, but we're not actually, those goals are not coming from a combination of our logic and our heart. It's coming from it's quite often our thoughts, our logic, and our subconscious patterning. So if we look at that, we really need, the number one thing you need is clarity. So if you're ever going to set any goals or intentions, the clarity that you need is clarity of where it's being driven from. So what's the driver of that goal? Is it coming from a logical mind that has been trained? Or is it coming from an emotional place that is in pain or reactive? And either of those is going to have the same effect. You're not going to get there because it's not coming from a place of clarity. And the way to work it out is to work out why you haven't achieved what you wanted to achieve so far in 2019. Now, there could be multiple reasons why this is happening, but it's basically you just have to look at, well, what was my goal? What actions did I take? Did I do everything that I needed to do to get there? Was there anything holding me back? Did my emotions cause me to procrastinate or to misdirect or to be preoccupied by something else? Did my thoughts just turn into complete chatter and overwhelm me? Yes, old stuff, Shelley. And that's the thing. So if it's old stuff, if it's old beliefs and thoughts and emotions that's coming up, that's where we have to really own them. Like it's honor, accept, and acknowledge. If we honor our emotions, accept our thoughts, and acknowledge what we do through those patterns, then we stop the cycle and we can make a different choice. Now, I would say 99% of people need help with that in regards to coaching, because it's pretty hard to do on your own. You can do it, it just takes longer. All right. Now, the other thing to look at with your goals and to have the best self for 2020 is alignment. So are you in alignment with your values? So are you on purpose and heading in the right direction and following through on your aspirational values? So a lot of people have done their values, but it's values that you have now rather than the values that you want to have for the future you, the aspirational you. So that means you have to work out what those values are so that you know that the goals that you set are heading in that direction, heading in the direction of that best self. And that comes from just the practical stuff. It comes through the growth that you want to achieve. It comes through the growth of yourself, the growth of your business, and whatever it is, it has to come from core aspirational values. The next thing I would say is your vision. So what's your biggest vision? I was talking about your aspirational self, which is your future self, the person that you want to become. But now I want to talk about the vision. Your vision of where your life and your business or whatever it is, what it looks like in 5 years' time. Now, if you don't have that vision, then you can't have the direct why to do the uncomfortable actions to achieve your goals. So my vision for 5 years down the track is to be the leader of empathic leadership in Australia. I want to be the number one person that is the go-to in regards to empathic leadership in Australia, if not the world, but let's start with Australia. Now, what that does for me is it makes me set my goals from year to year to constantly be heading in that direction. So it's not like, okay, my goal is to get 10 more clients. Well, that's just 10 more clients. It's not got the bigger picture. It's not got the bigger value, the bigger why in it. So if my goal is to impact more people so that more people can become more empathetic and empathic in their leadership skills and in their emotional intelligence, then that is what drives me, not to get more clients. So you're never going to get those that bigger client base if you don't have that vision, because it's not about just getting the numbers. It's about what you're developing in the world, what you're bringing to the world. So that's that vision, that why. Why are you heading for that particular goal, and what does it mean, and how does it impact the world? So a lot of it is about taking you out of the equation, because it's us that holds us back. So if you take you out of the equation, then it can be easier. What if you don't have that level of clarity around your vision? Okay, if you don't have the level of clarity around your vision, then you've got to actually look at the clarity of purpose. So, and you get that clarity of purpose by actually connecting in with your logic and your heart and combining those two, and that gives you the accessibility to what it is that you're meant to be doing in the world. But to do that, you have to work through your emotional hiccups, the subconscious patterns, to get to that point of vision. Now, that doesn't mean you can't do it on your own. It just means your vision might change a lot more as you head towards it. Whereas if you get help, you get that vision and it won't change. It's very solid. And if you don't get help, the vision might be a lot more short term. Does that make sense for whoever asked that question? Yes. Okay, Jody. Yeah, feel like you're jumping all over the place. Yes. And that can be because of the disconnect between the head and the heart. The disconnect happens through our throat area, and it strangles the energy here, which means that's why we don't voice what is true to us. If we don't have a strong voice, strong boundaries, strong values, then our vision is never going to be upheld. That way, if your throat isn't actually allowing the energy to flow evenly from top to bottom and bottom to top, then that's when we start to get thyroid problems, we start to get sore throats, we get coughs, all that sort of thing. Because if we're aiming for what it is that we want and we're not completely clear around that, then the body's going to show that where that blockage is. Okay. Now, if you're jumping around all over the place, I would say sit down and write out your vision as if it was a business plan for someone else. And then go through it logically and see if it adds up. All the steps that you want to do and where you want to head. And then see how it feels for you. Is it on track in regards to your heart? And then sorry, I just need to fix that. Okay. And then to put the actions in place. So you've got to have a consistent action plan. And that's the next thing I was going to talk about. So action. Some people are really great at taking a lot of action, and they're doers, and they're just doing all the time, but not with that clear direction. And then there's the others who are more feeling based, who will be meandering a little bit, Jody. And when we meander, it's because we're in our emotions too much. We're guided too much by our feelings, not using enough of our logic. That's generally speaking. So that's why actions are imperative to do. You must be taking some sort of action every day, heading towards your goal and your vision. Now, it doesn't mean it has to be huge. And I always suggest easy, easy stretch. So you do something easy, and then you do a stretch. And what that does is build the confidence. And we all want the confidence that we're actually going to reach those goals and those visions. Well, it comes from doing the things that are a bit of a stretch, because that builds our confidence muscle. And if we keep at it with relative consistency, because, you know, you're doing it easy. So you don't even have to think about those. You just do something easy, stretch. And that way you are building your momentum, as I said, your confidence and your belief in who you are and where you're heading. All of these things are able to be put together in a package called probably self-worth. So everyone's looking for self-worth. Well, it's actually in all of these things: the clarity, the alignment, the action, the vision, the why. All of these things add up to the feeling great about ourselves and what we do and what we've got to offer to the world. Now, if we do that with the actions, now if you have been setting a goal and you haven't actually reached it for 2019, and you've been doing lots of actions but not lots of results, you've got to look at the quality of your actions. Is it a productive action, or is it an action to just be busy so that you can feel like you're doing something? So always look at what you're about to do. Is this going to be productive? Is this heading me in the right direction that I want to go in? And it doesn't, if you're not sure 100% where you're going, at least for now. And those actions build the foundation of your purpose and your vision. So for 2020, if you do those things, the clarity, alignment, action, vision, then you're going to be able to achieve something. Now, I would suggest in your goals for a year is have actually the goal as a intention of a word. Because who you've got to become to achieve your 5-year goal or your vision is far more important than planning out the steps. So I had for this year vulnerability, because that was far more important than saying, okay, so I've got to do social media every day, and I've got to talk to 10 new people a week, and I've got to plan out a new program, and all of these things are great, but they're just thoughts, they're logic, they're planning. They have to hold the heart. And that's the part of the vulnerability of actually putting a deeper sense of me into doing whatever it is that I do. Because in that sense, you're projecting your heart out while logically planning exactly what it is that you want to do. Any questions from any of that? Any comments? While you're thinking about that, I will mention to you, which I'm sure most of you know, I'm in your head. Well, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I'll take it as a good thing. It makes sense. Thanks, Shelley. Excellent. All right. So I want to mention to you SMART goal setting. I'm sure most of you know this, but I'm going to run through it quickly for those who don't. Now, if you're going to set a goal, you have to have 5 criteria, and the acronym is SMART. The first one is to be specific. So if you have a goal, which is an action-based goal, not so much a vision, but a goal, then you have to have real numbers and deadlines within that goal. It has to be measurable. So obviously if you've got numbers involved, or results involved, then you'll be able to measure when you hit the progression to that goal. Now, it also has to be attainable, which means it can be challenging, but possible. So it can be a stretch, but it's still possible. Okay, so it makes sense. That's how I approach goals in my business. Great, excellent. So the next one is R, which is realistic. So be honest. What are you actually really capable of? Are you setting your goals too high? Are they so high that you are absolutely overwhelmed by them and are basically emotionally unable to reach them because you're in such a state of, no, that's just too big? So we've got to be realistic. There's no point saying I'm going to, let's for example in business, earn $1 million in the next 12 months. Well, unless you've actually got some foundation of reality to be able to do that, then all that's going to do is fill you with a lot of self-doubt and lack of worth, because you're never going to make it. So don't set goals that you can't make. Okay. Now, the other one is timely. So some people I've heard say, one day I'm going to be this, this, and this. I'm going to achieve this, this, and this. Well, someday or one day never arrives. So set a date. But again, it's got to be realistic. So don't set a date that's so close that it's just put so much pressure on, you're going to sabotage yourself straight away. So remember, SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Those are the 5 things that will allow you to set really great actionable tasks to reach your goal. Now, excuse me one moment. As some of you may have been able to tell from my voice, I have a slight head cold. It was a lot worse in the last 2 days, so I'm a little bit croaky at the moment. Okay, all right. So remember, there's 5 things. There's 5 things in the SMART goals, and there's 5 things in the clarity, alignment, action, vision, and the why. I also want to reiterate what's really important is your driver. So is your driver your logic, or is it your heart or emotions? And if it's one and not the other, or the heart and not the logic, then you're going to have problems. We must be able to balance out both. And when people say they're looking for balance in life, and they try to actually do balance externally, really on a spiritual level, balance is about the internal balance between the head and the heart. You balance this, everything outside of you will balance automatically, because you'll make different choices, you'll take different actions, and you'll have different goals. So that's why it's so important to do the subconscious work and the emotional intelligence work, so that you can be fully in balance and fully having this channel like a really wide energy channel, not just a little dribble coming through. We want to have all of ourselves channeling from our head and our heart, so that we can be fully on purpose, have our vision, and be in balance. Okay, so now, if there's no more questions, I would like to just run you through a quick meditation, and let's do that. All right. So I'd like you to close your eyes, taking a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And we'll do 3 breaths like that, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And one more. And as you continue to breathe, you start to feel yourself just slowing down. And as you slow down, you feel your shoulders starting to just relax. And as your shoulders relax, you feel your neck and head relax. And this relaxation just starts to slowly seep down through your body, allowing you to just be present in this moment. To be fully in your body, able to feel, to think, without any attachment. To just be able to be present and observe. And as you feel your mind starting to relax and slow down, and your heart and your emotions to open, you feel this energy flowing down from your head into your heart. And as you breathe it down into your heart, you feel your chest expand. And as you do 3 breaths in your heart, it's just getting bigger and bigger. And then you feel the energy start to go back up into your head. You're taking your heart back up into your head. And as you breathe back into your head, you feel the energy swirling around in your head. Breathing 3 times into your head. Feeling the energy channel starting to widen and grow through your throat. And allowing yourself to just observe. And once you've done those 3 breaths in your head, once again, you see the energy channeling down through this nice wide channel now into your heart once again. You breathe 3 times into your heart. And you feel the calmness. You feel the balance and the centeredness, the connection. You can think and observe, or you're feeling the emotions and the energy that propels you forwards. And in this space, you can ask, what is my goal? What is my vision for 2020? Who do I need to be to achieve those goals? What do I need to do differently? How can I best represent my best self? How can I be true to me? And you feel this energy pulsating between your head and your heart. And as you ask these questions, there's no stress around them. Just asking. And you might get a vision. You might get a voice in your head. You might get a word. You might get a sensation. Just hold on to them so that you can write it all down when we're done. So as you continue to breathe and you feel this energy expanding between your head and your heart, you feel the energy of action in your belly, of creativity, And you join all these energies up so that you have your logic, you have your emotions, you have your creativity and action. And it just gives you all the support that you need to step forward. We don't need to step up. We just need to step forward to be completely in alignment with our purpose that we were destined to have in this life. It's all inside of us waiting to come out. We just have to drop the protective barriers, some masks from ourselves, our own eyes, and from others. It's in this space that we're able to gather our courage, our belief, to step forward and to achieve. And if we have hiccups along the way, if things go wrong or we have problems, remember, your problems are your lessons. They're your intellectual property of who you are and what you're here to learn. Always ask, what has this situation got to teach me today? How have I manifested this situation? Self-awareness, self-accountability, self-responsibility all sets you free. So enjoying that sensation of the energy really pulsating strongly from your head to your heart to your belly. And as you do that, you notice that it's also going down into your feet and also up through the top of your head. So you're connected with everything, the earth, the universe, and yourself. So you get the support, you get the guidance, you get the higher self, your higher self is waiting to guide you to your vision and your goal and your best self for 2020. And as you take a nice deep breath in, you start to become aware of your surroundings. And as you take another breath, you start to wriggle your fingers and your toes. And one last breath, and you open your eyes. Excellent. If anyone would like to share anything that they got from that meditation, whether it was a word or a vision or some sort of clarity, that would be amazing. I felt like it was a really, really strong meditation with lots and lots of direction available to you. So maybe this is one that you need to listen to quite a few times to get the depth of understanding that you need. Okay, so Shelley, you got the word confident. Excellent. Which, tell me what that means for you. What does confident mean for you? Because to me, confident is about really stepping up and being willing to be seen. So confident is a great word, and we all are striving for exactly that. Fantastic, Shelley. So, you know, build on that confidence. You've got that inner confidence it's sitting inside of you. Bring it forward. Use it. We all have the tools that we need. We just have to bring them from the inside out, without all the subconscious and emotional baggage getting in the way. Honesty. I realize I still make a lot of excuses and I need to be more honest and forgiving of myself. Fantastic. Well done. I don't know who that was, but that's great. So honesty to yourself is paramount, because we lie to ourselves all the time because we're avoiding vulnerable situations which might make us wrong. And Vanda, thank you. So so we avoid situations so that we don't actually have to feel like we are not good enough, not doing enough, whatever it might be. There's a million things that go around in our heads in these situations. So honesty to ourselves actually then gives us a choice. And also honesty to your inner circle. So to the people that you trust completely, who are your support network, honesty with them as well. I don't mean that you have to be honest with the entire world, because when we're in transition and change, sometimes we need to actually have a little bit of a more supportive energy or people around us, because we're vulnerable. And you know, when you're vulnerable, things can change quickly. We can get hurt, or we feel like we could get hurt. So, you know, pick your circle in regards to who you're really vulnerable and honest with when you're looking at the deeper stuff. Okay, Jody, you got real. Same thing. Fantastic. So be real, be authentic, be exactly who you are, and keep taking those layers off so the best real you is going to come out, because that's the one who knows exactly where they're going and what's important. So, okay. So if anyone would like help with their vision or their goals or their purpose for 2020 or onwards, please let me know. You will get an email tomorrow. You can either pop it in the chat box now, or tomorrow you will get an email with the recording of this webinar. So those of you listening to the recording, you've already got the email. Reply to that with yes, I need help, and I will get back to you straight away and we'll have a chat about how that may best happen. Now, a couple of housekeeping notes. There will be no January 2020 webinar. I'm going to have a month off. Yay! But I'll be back in February. And what I'd like is if you could also in the email reply to that email that you're going to get with this recording, any topics that you want covered next year. Something that's particularly interesting for you, because I would like to be really specific for what my client base are needing. So please, any ideas are great ideas. So doesn't matter what they are, pop them in there, and we'll see what happens. It will be fun. All right. So once again, thank you for being with me tonight. If there's any final questions, pop them in now. Otherwise, those of you who have listened to this webinar via the recording, remember, reply to the email if you need anything. There will be a link in the email for a free 15-minute chat. So that is always going to be available. And I wish you all a Merry Christmas or festive season and an amazing 2020. Remember, 2020, it's a new year, a new start, new decade. Be the new you, and be the new you that you deserve, and project that into the world. Okay, thank you so much, Shelley. I appreciate that. Merry Christmas. All right, good night, and safe travels, everybody. Lovely to be with you. Bye for now.